Money's the motivation, money's the conversation. You on vacation.
All right, guys, we're back. And so, your Pittsburgh Steelers suffered, honestly, a pretty embarrassing loss last week.
Very.
I expected you guys to come out in the end. And it was a game, but that Jacksonville defense, Blake Bortles, they all played well. And now it's off-season time for your Pittsburgh Steelers. What do they have to do in this off-season to get it turned around and finally make it back to the big game?
They got to do a lot. And I will say, last week we kind of talked about this, and I have to apologize to Ben Roethlisberger for saying that he should retire. I'm taking that back.
Oh,
I feel bad.
I agree.
I feel bad. It was just kind of like
spur of the moment.
In the moment.
Yeah.
I was a little upset. Got to blame something. So I think he is going to stay. He was already talking about playing next year, saying that he wants to play 3 more years. That's fine. I'm just worried about next year, though.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that I wanted to happen already happened, so that made me happy, and that's Todd Haley's gone.
Yeah.
And the Steelers signed their quarterback coach as the offensive coordinator now, and I think that's perfect because he's been there. He's been the wide receiver. He was the wide receivers coach from 2007 to 2010. Then he moved to the quarterbacks coach. So he's been with Ben forever.
That offense
forever. So he knows the offense. He knows the players. Like he knows how it's done. So, and we kind of talked about it the other day. Like it's going to give Ben more room to do what he wants to do.
Give that freedom.
Give him that freedom instead of because Todd Haley is one of those coaches that he thinks he's the man.
Yeah.
He doesn't care who his players are. Like he wants to do what he's doing, and I think that's going to change. And so I think this offense is going to explode next year.
Okay.
Because you look at position by position on offense, they're fine.
Yeah.
They got their quarterback.
Yeah.
Assuming they re-sign Le'Veon Bell.
Yes.
They have their running back.
Yeah.
That's assuming they do.
Yeah.
They have their wide receivers. I like their tight ends. And they have one of the best offensive line in the league. So they're fine on offense.
Yeah, that's...
Defense. That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
First of all, the Steelers need to, in the offseason, they need to prepare for the fact that Ryan Shazier is not going to play. I don't know if he will play. I hope he plays. I hope he comes back and plays. But realistically, we have no clue.
Yeah, exactly. We have no clue.
So you can't build your defense around him anymore. You have to build your defense on the fact that your best defensive player is sitting in a wheelchair right now. So you can either go out and sign a free agent linebacker, or you can draft one.
Yeah.
So, but that's the biggest thing they need to do. They need to really emphasize getting depth in their linebacking position, and then they also need help in their secondary still.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin needs to go.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin needs to go. I know there's not many really good candidates out there to maybe become that next coach. But I feel like Mike Tomlin has lost that team.
Yeah. I know. I agree.
When you have Le'Veon Bell talking about if the Steelers franchise tag him, then he's going to retire before a playoff game. There's some... If Bill Belichick was coaching that team, Le'Veon Bell would not be saying that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think Mike Tomlin needs to go too.
Even Ben speaking out. That whole Facebook Live thing with Antonio. No, that's happened multiple times. I agree.
So it was a tough loss, though. Hopefully that loss made them learn their lesson that they need to go week by week and not worry about damn New England, who in the regular season they played week 14 or week 15, already talking about them in week 5.
Yeah, that's their own fault.
Yes, that is their own fault. So hopefully that's a good learning experience for them to realize you got to go week by week in the NFL because whether a team is shit or not, they're still all professionals for a reason.
Exactly.
So that was my little rant there.
I agree with. Obviously, you study your team more than I do, but from what I, just an outsider's perspective, I still keep up with the Steelers, of course, AFC. But for me, number one, I guess 1 and 2. One, you do have to re-sign Le'Veon Bell, I think, for in this offseason, it has to be your key priority, is make sure the best running back in the league stays in Pittsburgh. And 2, which is not far behind re-signing Le'Veon Bell, that defense. I do feel like, getting rid of Todd Haley and will give, at least a little breath of, breathing room in Pittsburgh. They're not all panic. And, Ben will have more ability to do what he wants to do with the ball. And because we've seen this in the past, when Ben does have his freedom, he has thrown a lot of picks before. We've seen it. So, I will be watching. I'm curious to see that. But yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, especially we don't know what's happening with Shazier.
No.
So they need to pick up some pieces. Yeah, like you said, through the draft and free agency. Sure. I mean, they have a pretty good front seven. Yeah. I would say. I mean, yeah, they do need help in their linebacking core. And you said depth about their linebacking core. I would say that even for the defensive line, just so they if you had especially with the Jags defense, you're competing with these ridiculous teams now. If you think about it, with all this talent,
the Chargers.
Yeah, exactly. Just to keep up, I know you're still easily going to be in the conversation. No doubt, I have no doubt in my mind. But there's a question in the secondary too. I just think it's more of easily a defensive question for me on this team.
Yeah,
offense.
Agreed.
Which is, fair when you have best receiver, best running back. Especially as a combo. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see what happens. They're taking some steps.
The first step that was taken, which is not just mine, but if you go to any Steelers fan, if you ask them what do you think about Todd Haley, they'll say the same thing that I say. So I think that was a huge step for them into hopefully being a very good offseason for them.
That's why he was fired from Kansas City.
Yeah.
If you remember, before he went to the Steelers, he was their head coach, and he wasn't doing so well because of his play calls.
Yeah.
So
his play calls and the fact that he's one of the coaches that he's not a Mike Tomlin where he's kind of like buddy. He'll yell at guys. And Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a coach to yell at him. He knows what the hell he did right or wrong.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see what happens in the offseason, but
be interesting.
With football ending soon, it's only right to talk about some basketball.
Oh, yes.
We'll talk about some college basketball next.
Yes.